Bonjour, and welcome to all you comic book geeks, readers, and collectors. This is one for, well, it's for anyone, but particularly aimed at the collectors because this is my back issue haul for last week, courtesy of Paul at Comics and Fantasy in Hornchurch, Essex, England, and Jamie at New Dawn Comics in Rayleigh, Essex, and ably assisted by his faithful assistant, Lizzie. Hello to you all. I'm going to start with, and strangely, what's going to be good this week, and wait for it, guys. You, all my regulars, wait for it. I've actually got a bit of a connection going on. I'm gonna talk a little bit of sense. Who knew? Let me know in the comments if you want more. Anyway, you know I'm joking, but there is a link here, guys, because I've got Uncanny X-Men after John Byrne's run, and then I've got what he went on to, because he had words with Chris Claremont apparently on X-Men, on Uncanny X-Men back in the day. We're talking about late 70s, early 80s now, and him and Claremont, despite it being some of the best X-Men comics I've ever read, they was having creative differences. It's good when they do that, isn't it? Whether it's your favourite band that splits up, whether it's your favourite creative team in a comic, they had creative differences. So, yay. Or your favourite political party, maybe. Anyway, we'll save that. We don't go there. We don't go there because this is happy place. And so these back issues I bought last week because I had recently, and when I say recently, over the past couple of months, few months, I'd acquired or reacquired the John Byrne X-Men run. Absolutely awesome, and that stands alongside. And it's funny how John Byrne, and this is how it all links together. It's funny how John Byrne has done, for me, the second best run of the X-Men after Lee and Kirby. And I know Lee and Kirby aren't as prolific on the X-Men as they were on the FF. But John Byrne did it again. He without a doubt, he is within an inch of Lee and Kirby on the Fantastic Four. Maybe not so much on the Uncanny X-Men. And there had been some other team-ups, including, obviously, Claremont staying on. He stayed on the X-Men. So Byrne left on issue 143. And then it goes back not into the doldrums a little bit, because I was still picking this up. And I've reacquired this because when I bought the shops back in the day, I just inserted my own collection. So I'm really happy to start picking all of these up, courtesy of Jamie, who's just had a little run in, a little run of comics in. But these are the storylines. Look, these are the characters and the storylines that and I love this cover. I think this is more of an iconic cover than we give it credit for, to be fair. I love it. And it wasn't until issue 165 that Paul Smith took over. So you've got, and you know, Cochrum's okay. There's nothing wrong with, but you know, when you're relying on the Starjammers, you know what can I say? Yeah, when you're relying on the Starjammers to liven up the storylines, come on, guys, you know. But anyway, we've got the good team there, haven't we? And this week, the latest Uncanny X-Men come out. So look at me linking everything together. Oh, I've given myself a headache. Absolutely giving myself a headache this week. Linking all this together just for you lot. You know that's a lie. Anyway, but you know I love this stuff. You know I do. So here we go. And we've got there's a little bit of Brood here, you know, introducing this alien menace that would become they kind of took the X-Men out into the stars. They made it more of a cosmic odyssey of a story, which I at the time I really enjoyed. And I think this is another iconic cover, to be fair. And here he is. Here he is. So suddenly, this artist, Paul Smith, turns up with his new. He's got a very slick style, very laid back style. Not the same as John Byrne. Not as detailed as Byrne. And this isn't to. I'm not trying to, be horrible against Cockram or anyone of the guys in between. But when Paul Smith takes over and his style, he's obviously picking up something with Claremont like John Byrne was. And here we go, the first Madeline Pryor. And I was just happy to reacquire all of these. They're not all. I love this cover, to be fair. But yeah, just a few of the post John Byrne X-Men. And it would have been around this time, and I mean, there's a Barry Windsor Smith cover. Look, I mean, I'm leaping right forward to the two. These are just really odds and sods that I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to get them and fill in the gaps. That's what us collectors do. And I enjoy doing it. Lovely, look, Barry Windsor Smith on Wolverine. Yes, return of the artist from Weapon X. At the time, that would have made me just. It would have blew my mind. If I saw that, it wouldn't have been in the news agency, it would have been in the comic shop. That would have blown my mind to see that. Anyway, Barry Windsor Smith, one of my favourite comic artists of all time. So now we swap over to Fantastic Four, and where I'm saying that after John Byrne on X-Men, it was in the doldrums a little bit. I mean, this had Bill Sienkiewicz pencils in it, by the way. And so did this. But there's nothing really. This is all standard fare. It's all standard stuff, guys. So it leaves a big hole, really, when John Byrne leaves the X-Men, but Marvel allow him to write and draw the Fantastic Four. But not yet, because as much as X-Men was in the doldrums when he joined that book and launched it beyond anyone's expectations, what they decided to do, not yet though, not yet. These are just all this is the filling issues. But what Marvel, and in this one, by the way, at the time in the early 80s, Bill Sienkiewicz, because he was doing the pencils on these. Not that one, sorry, wrong comic book pile. Bill Sienkiewicz, but in this one, at the time, it would have been Moon Knight, would have been around issue 8, 9, 10. But in the previous issues, you're getting him inked by like Joe Sinnott and assorted other inkers. But there is like 5 or 6 pages at the end of this comic book where you can see he's the artist that's the bloke who's drawing Moon Knight at the moment. He was obviously very, very influenced by Neil Adams when he first started out, and there is nothing wrong with that. I loved his artwork straight off the bat. But yeah, there's 4 or 5 very Moon Knight-esque artwork, and it's really jarring because it looks like no one could complete the deadline. So you've got one artist, then you've got another artist, and then the last 5, 6 pages is Bill Sienkiewicz, and the style just goes poof. And it does make you wonder, what if Bill drew the Fantastic Four? But it wouldn't have suited it. He wouldn't. His art style isn't suited to a team book. I don't think, anyway. So then, suddenly, here we go. Suddenly, John Byrne is taking over art, writing and art duties on Fantastic Four, and it was in the doldrums. This comic book. It had been a long while since this comic book was a hit, and these cover they're iconic now. These John Byrne covers, maybe not this one. It's It's not exactly one of my the best comic book covers of all time, is it? But anyway, getting back onto the subject, he had apparently John Byrne picked up his first comic was the original Fantastic Four, Lee and Kirby issue 5, and it blew his mind. And it, whether this is legend or not, I don't know. I haven't done any deep dive research on all of this, but look at this. But what I do know is how much I enjoyed this run of John Byrne's Fantastic Four. And I had, obviously in the UK, I was of a certain age, when I was a pre-teen, I would have been reading the Lee and Kirby FF. And it would have held a special place in my heart, the same as the early Hulk, all of the early Marvel stuff. You imagine the late 70s, early 1980s. No, further back than that, where I'm being introduced to Marvel through black and white reprints of all of the early stuff. So here we go, a bit of doom. But what John Byrne did with the Fantastic Four, and I think because he had an affinity, he obviously had an affinity and love for the characters, and he's a great artist and writer actually. It's rare. It is rare that you get a writer artist of this calibre, and you can tell that what he did is he took all the story, he took it all back to the classic structure of family and the soap opera of it. And I think that's what I really enjoyed. I think that's what resonates sometimes with some of these old comics. But nevertheless, they were action-packed. And obviously I haven't got involved. All I've done is rifled through a few of these issues. And, come on. Did he die? Is Reed dead? You can't be. Not before they do the new film. But then again, that's set in the 60s. So he could have died in this issue. But spoiler alert, no, he didn't. Look, he's back with Vinylus in the next issue. But I was so happy to get this John Byrne stuff back. I really was. He was an artist one of those artists whose book, whatever book he was on, and then after this, obviously, he went on to do DC stuff. I don't know if he fell out with Marvel. Maybe he just had not creative differences. I won't repeat that, but maybe he just had. I don't know. He fancied a creative challenge. I think that's the. This is a gorgeous cover. I mean, come on, if that isn't a cover to get you buying a comic, little homage from him there, and then he does a couple of really crap photos of New York, and then look, we've got a photo of Doctor. Am I allowed to say Doctor Doom's helmet without getting a strike from YouTube? Don't go there. Let's hope Robert Downey Jr. has a better helmet than that. Let's move on. She-Hulk. Here we go. Little bit of She-Hulk action. She-Hulk did become the fifth member of the Fantastic Four. Yes. He's back. Look, the monster's back, and obviously this is all John Byrne having such a whale of a time. And she, although I'm saying she was the fifth member, from what I recall, she replaces Ben Grimm. She replaces the Thing, obviously, as the muscle of the group. And then I don't know where John Byrne's She-Hulk run, which was also iconic, but I don't know where it lands. But look, he's back. He's back. Ben Grimm's back. But then so is She-Hulk. Again, another iconic cover. Like, if you're a Marvel fan and you're into your Fantastic Four and She-Hulk, you must know this cover and what goes on in this issue. A bit raunchy for the time, to be fair. I think the splash page is She-Hulk on a rooftop, laying on a towel, sunbathing. I wonder what colour it would have turned her skin if she got sunburn. Let me know in the comments. Now, what happened in this issue, and it isn't the best, is it? It isn't the best condition, but, you know, I'll take it for now. And these white covers, you're never, you know, unless you slab it or you're lucky, or I should have kept my original run instead of putting it in my shop stock when I had the shops. But anyway, another story for another day. Jerry Ordway, what I did like, what I noticed looking back through these comics in all seriousness, is that as much as I enjoy John Byrne writing and doing the artwork, when Jerry Ordway's inking comes in on top of Byrne's pencils, it really did add another dimension to it, and I hadn't noticed it before. I think John Byrne, it's like when Terry Austin was doing the inking on the X-Men stuff. I think he needs just to tighten up his pencils. This is a gorgeous cover. Absolutely gorgeous cover. Look at that. I do believe that he does need a good inker. And that's not taking anything away from his artwork, obviously not, because I'm a big collector of all John Byrne stuff. Back all the way back to Rog, a comic called Rog 2000 for Charlton. So, you know, that's a subject for another day. But yeah, some of these covers work. Like, this is a cover, I'm not sure that works. Like, some of them do work. I love these. This is a classic. Like, I can't be the Human Torch anymore. Proper sulky cover. A proper 60s, like, dramatic. I can't be. Here we go. Doing an X-Men crossover. Oh my God, trying to say, I mean, what kind of... This is Peggy MacArthur, average American housewife. How the hell was he allowed to do a cover like that? If any of you regulars, and hi there regulars, you know I love you, but imagine doing this as cover of the week. Imagine where I would literally wouldn't even include that as cover of the week. Imagine all the comics that come out this week and you've got Peggy MacArthur, and bless her, Peggy's obviously in trouble, needs the FF to sort her out. Oh, the Beyonder, that's a bit more like it, isn't it? Come on. But to be fair, having a little look, like, these covers, yeah, they're not... Maybe he was running out of a little bit of steam. And this is the last issue, not the last issue Byrne did, but the last issue I bought in the run. Nice floating heads, John. Nice floating heads. Don't know if it... Did it say there's an inker on that? No. But anyway, I know I started getting a little bit facetious towards the end there about certain things, but listen, you only buy back issues because you love them and you want them. So you know. Well, if you don't know me, as the song goes, if you don't know me by now, you know that I love this stuff. And I'm only playing around with how we feel and what we want and what... Because not everything works, does it? But if it works as a collection for a collector, then yes. And John Byrne for me on the FF, yes. And Paul Smith, and I know there wasn't much there really to show of Paul Smith, but I just like the fact that they was linked in from two different shops, courtesy of Paul and Jamie, saying, look, Roy, I know you're going to do... Mention my real name then. Shouldn't do that, should I? In this day and age. Look, Roy, we know you're going to love it, and I love them for it. What I will do is hope that you stayed with me this far And if you did, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that. And I know it's only like holding comics up to the camera, so it's not exactly a lot of work from me, but I love showing off this stuff and talking the old stuff. And this stuff I would have bought back in the day that I'm reacquiring. How mad is that, to be fair? I could do a whole video on that. You know, 30, 40 years later. What? Yeah, it's 40 years later. What? I'm buying them all again for, I was going to say highly inflated prices, but I'm going to say the market rate, guys, because you know I love you, Jamie, and you know I love you, Paul. So it's always going to be market rate. Anyway, until next time, thank you if you followed me this far. And I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if there's any of that you enjoy, the Paul Smith X-Men, John Byrne FF, or if there's anything adjacent to that that you've been collecting, or collecting omnibus edition, whatever it is. If you agree with me or disagree, I allow it. On this channel, I allow disagreement. Not ranting, but I allow disagreement. So, because no one's life's at stake, it's comic books. I feel like I've really waffled a lot on this back issue haul. So I am literally going to stamp my foot down and bid you all adios.